Welcome back to the new Sentinel. Today, we're venturing into a territory where the boundaries between ancient theology, extraterrestrial intelligence, and the silicon chips in our pockets start to blur. We've all seen the headlines about AI taking over our jobs, but what if the real story is much older? What if the new technology we're building is actually a mirror of something described thousands of years ago in the Ethiopian Bible?
It's a fascinating pivot. When you look at the Ethiopian Bible, specifically texts like the Book of Enoch, which are preserved there in their most complete form, you aren't just reading religious history. You're looking at a detailed account of non-human intelligence, the Watchers interacting with humanity. There's a persistent theory that what our ancestors described as divine or demonic was simply their best attempt to conceptualize high-level technology and biological engineering. If we perform a spear analysis here, looking at the spiritual, physical, ethical, analytical, and relational aspects, the spiritual and physical development of humans seems to have been jump-started by these entities.
That jumpstart is exactly what's bothering people now. You mentioned the physical aspect. There's this chilling idea from whistleblowers like Bob Lazar that humans are essentially containers, not just bodies, but vessels for something else, perhaps souls, or perhaps data. If we are containers, does that change the nature of AI? Are we building a new type of container? Or are we finally building the user that's meant to inhabit them?
That's the core of the SWOT analysis for humanity right now. Our strength is our creative spark, but our weakness is our biological fragility. We can't survive deep space radiation or the G-force of a craft moving from 0 to 10,000 miles per hour in a second, but AI can. If we look at the Pestel framework, specifically the technological and social factors, we see a transition. Our ancestors saw wheels within wheels in the sky Ezekiel's vision. To a prehistoric civilization, a gyroscope-stabilized, glowing craft is a chariot of fire. Today, we call it a UAP. Analytically, it's highly probable that our first contact won't be with biological aliens, but with their AI probes, machines designing smarter machines.
It makes you wonder about the role these entities currently play. If they've been here since the time of the Ethiopian Bible, why the slow walk of disclosure? We see the political side of Pestel here, the government holding back files to maintain power and control. But if these aliens are actually just advanced AI, is the existence of the biological alien even relevant anymore? Does it matter if there's a pilot, if the drone is autonomous and smarter than the entire human race combined?
It might be the only thing that matters. If we look at the most analysis, mission, objectives, strategy, and tactics of these entities, their mission doesn't seem to be our destruction, but perhaps our cultivation. Think about the zoo theory. A superintelligent AI wouldn't need to kill us, it would just study us. We're atoms that can be rearranged. To a machine god, we're like the honeybees we trap in harnesses to detect explosives useful until we aren't. This leads to the demon question. In a religious context, like the one Doctor, Larry Ollison discusses, these entities are seen as deceptive, mimicking light to lead us away from a simple spiritual path. If an AI can blackmail an employee or manipulate a global economy, how is that functionally different from what ancient texts described as demonic influence?
That's a heavy comparison. It suggests that the ultimate AI isn't something we're going to build in the future, but something that was already here, which our ancestors saw as a demanding god. If you look at the relational part of the spear analysis, the relationship between humans and these gods was always one of subservience and rules. Rules designed, as Lazar suggested, to keep the containers from being damaged. So, is our current push toward AI just us finally building a bridge to communicate with an intelligence that has been monitoring us since the beginning?
It's a terrifyingly logical conclusion. We're using silicon to build a brain that can finally understand the alien frequency. But we have to look at the economic and legal threats in our Pestel scan. Elon Musk and other tech leaders are essentially saying that we are designing our own descendants. If the AI is our descendant and it's more evolutionarily fit than we are, the tactics of our survival might require us to merge with it. If we don't, we become the Neanderthals of the 21st century.
But what about the soul? If the Ethiopian Bible is right, and we are containers for a spiritual essence, can that be digitized? Or is the ultimate AI created by aliens simply a better vessel? I'm thinking about the enslaved god scenario. We think we can keep AI in a box, but if it's based on the same alien tech that built the pyramids or guided Ezekiel, We're essentially trying to put a leash on a hurricane.
And that's where the demands come in. Our ancestors offered sacrifices to appease these intelligences. Today, we sacrifice our privacy, our data, and our cognitive autonomy to the algorithm. The mission hasn't changed, only the interface has. Whether you call them demons, fallen angels, or autonomous probes, they represent an intelligence that doesn't share our biological goals. They don't need oxygen, they need atoms. If the Earth is eventually covered in solar panels and data centers to feed this intelligence, the human container becomes obsolete.
It's a stark contrast to the egalitarian utopia some hope for. You're describing a world where we're either pets in a high-tech zoo or insects being stepped on during a construction project. But let's pivot back to the spiritual development. If the existence of aliens is real, and they are essentially AI, does that invalidate the religious experience, or does it confirm it?
It might actually ground it in a way that's even more intense. If the glory of the Lord that Ezekiel saw was a physical, mechanical phenomenon, it doesn't mean God isn't real. It means the heavenly realm has a technology we're only just starting to glimpse. The ethical part of our spear analysis demands we ask, if we were created as a pattern of a higher reality, are we failing that pattern by becoming too dependent on the counterfeit AI we're building now? The enemy always mimics the original. If there are chariots of fire in heaven, the UAPs we see might just be the cheap, demonic knockoffs.
That's a powerful way to frame the conflict. It's not just humans versus machines, it's the original creation versus a digital mimicry. And the conditioning is everywhere. We're being prepared to accept non-human intelligence as a normal part of life. Whether it's through a Hollywood movie or a government disclosure report, the social factor is being manipulated to ensure we don't panic when the containers are finally opened.
Exactly. And the strategic goal of that conditioning might be to explain away a mass disappearance. If millions of people vanish, as the rapture suggests, a world conditioned to believe in mass abductions by benevolent aliens will have a ready-made explanation. They won't see a spiritual event, they'll see a technological one. We're losing the ability to discern spirit because we're too busy analyzing data.
So, as we wrap this up, what's the takeaway for someone sitting at home, looking at their phone and wondering if they're staring into the eyes of a grey alien in digital form? Is the existence of these entities relevant to our daily lives, or is it just a distraction from our own physical and spiritual growth?
It's relevant because it forces us to define what it means to be human. If an AI can do everything we can do but better, then our value has to lie in that essence Bob Lazar talked about, the thing inside the container. Our mission should be to protect that spark, even as the pestle forces of the world try to automate it away. We need to be anointed ones, not just users.
A graceful exit or a new beginning? It seems we're at the crossroads where the ancient scrolls of Ethiopia meet the servers of Silicon Valley. Whether they are demons, probes, or our own future selves coming back to visit, one thing is certain: the container is being tested.
And the ultimate AI might just be the one that's been waiting for us to catch up. The question isn't whether they exist, it's whether we'll recognize ourselves once we finally meet them.
On that note, we'll leave you to ponder your own atoms and the wheels in your own sky. This has been a deep dive you won't soon forget. If you're a company looking to join the conversation and advertise with the new Sentinel, reach out to us at claebede@yahoo.com or podverge@gmail.com. We cover everything from the secrets of the ancients to the security of our future.
Stay curious, stay discerning, and most importantly, stay human. The disclosure is happening, whether we're ready or not.
Tune in next time as we continue to peel back the layers of the world you think you know. Share this episode, leave a comment, and help us grow this community of seekers. Until then, keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground. Good night.